Hurry it up, Mr. Spaceship Driver. We don't want to be late for the show. Here's my ticket. Now get me there. I want to see the 360 no-scopes. Don't let this music put your expectations too high because I'm not known for my Krabering. How much time do you think I have on my Kraber? I'm gonna show you guys at the end of this. The Kraber is one of those weapons that actually changes your game style. It does definitely make you hyper aware movement because in between every shot, all there is for you to do is to move. I cut this out, but this video went to a long stride where I was just bunny hopping through the level and the pathing was really good, it was really smooth, and it was because when I was using the Kraber, that's what I had to do in between every bad shot that I took. So before we go any further in this montage, remember this moment, because I have no idea what I'm doing. So I decided to just have fun with it and play with it in the same way that I would normally play, but also into its force play style of just continuously moving because far snipes are not that easy. This is the sweet spot right there. Make sure to get close enough that the barrel actually touches your chest and then you shoot. Guaranteed one shot every time. I'm gonna crown him. Oh, his name was Crowned? Oh, I honestly didn't know that. I never run fire stars, but once you put on the Kraber, everything changes. You might as well throw your old playbook out because it's so different. It's so different. You're like, it's a sniper far away. It's like, no, that's like the hardest way to play it. Pilots are so weird in their movement that trying to shoot those kind of shots requires some luck or crazy skill. As a Kraber user, you actually gain this right to criticize every other player. It doesn't matter if he's using a Spitfire, a car, you can criticize Cold Wars, EPGs, SMRs, Wingman Elite. You're not even on my level, man. Grab a Kraber. Grab a Kraber and then we can talk. Honestly, the weirdest things happened to me when I was making this video. I'm like, this doesn't normally happen to me. I also had one of those clips where you end up getting bounced out of the level. It's like, why? Because I have a Kraber in my hands? Just weird things. And it's probably weird to me because it's not familiar. The gameplay with a Kraber is so much different than with any other weapon. And I love for the moments where I get lucky or if I manage to actually get some skill. And this is the absolute moment where I'm like, it's on. As soon as I make this snipe, I'm like, okay, I'm playing at 100%. I'm like, whenever you've made one shot, you know you have to beat it, right? So yeah, it hits. I'm pumped. I'm like, there's no stopping me at this point. I'm gonna take it like I know it, and I miss it. I'm like, whatever. We're still good. I'm a Kraber god right now. I'm feeling it. This is how much I'm feeling it right now. I'm like, I'm gonna kick this dude right off of here. Oh my god, I just hit steel with my knee. I'm surprised my dude is still wall running. Alright, let's get rid of this guy. I'm actually gonna have to pull out my secondary. I'm like, that's not what I want. I want to be Kraber god. Put it back on. Yeah, there is something about Krabers, isn't there? If that was a Titanfall, I would have melted. The smart thing to do right now is for me to actually use that to retreat, but it's the end of the game, so we're just gonna do this straight out. I'm feeling pretty good about what I got going on right now. Check my phase dash. I was so close. We're okay still. I'm feeling it. I have respect for that guy. That was an honorable death. Most people would just eject, but we were both on the same page there. I never even used ticks before, guys. I just changed the whole build. I'm like fire stars, gravity stars. I threw on the random boost and it ended up giving me ticks a lot. It seems to be a higher percentage to ticks. At least that was my experience. But I couldn't help but admire this guy beside me with his nice alternator, and I'm like, yeah, I'd like to give that thing a spin. Because I know at the end of the day, I am no Kraber main. I can't snipe. I can make some cool moments happen with it, and have some fun with it, but I can't snipe. So let's take a look at some of these stats. 3 hours. Okay, we can round up to 4 if you want, but it's probably more rounded down to 3 hours. I don't know how it counts it. Does it count it when you're in your Titan? I assume it doesn't. Do you have to be moving? If you change to your secondary, does that take away from the time used? See, I don't know the inner workings of time used. Remember Destiny where it showed, there were a couple of sites that showed you how long you played, because it was completely different than what you would see in game, because in game just counted if you went AFK for hours and you didn't put your Xbox to sleep or anything like that, you were playing Destiny according to them. But on the site, usually you would lose like a quarter of your time. And to be honest, I probably lost a lot of my life in orbit. I forgot how fun gravity stars were, because not only do they catch people, it's also a really cool way to boost yourself. My sensitivity is at a 5. That's what I needed at. I think that may have to be the minimum for anybody trying to do it on console. If not, your drag scope just does not work. It is not fast enough at close and medium distance. Pilots are just fast in this game. You also have to turn up your field of view. If not, you're going to make things harder on yourself than they need to be. This is just a random boost, but I'm going to play it at this point. I need all the help I can get, to be honest, because I'm never super confident in my sniping. I have moments, and I find that it's when I just like zone out. I'm not using any kind of sticky on my screen. Surprisingly, my grappling hook is just as accurate without the aimer. At first, I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. But I was able to grab people just the same, so I'm like, okay. So I've just got the grappling hook like sight down now. Definitely not the time to be going for an execution. But in the same way that I can see the grappling hook, I think that's how people see the Kraber if they use it long enough. This thing also does force you to do that thing where you shoot and continuously move. And it throws me off every so often, but it does definitely get you into the habit of doing it. What else are you going to do in between these shots? That's the whole reason your mobility is going to get so good, because there's nothing else for you to do. It would help if you have something like stim. I can see how stim works really well with this, as well as phase, because then it kind of cancels out that time when you're reloading, because you're extremely safe when you're going fast with stim. And if you're phased, well, you're invulnerable, so go ahead and reload all the way if you want. I like this clip. It has a little bit of everything. It has a little bit of long distance, a little bit of medium distance. See, this is it's not that hard to get rid of sentries. I'm not against a lot of pilot sentries. It's usually if the team is overwhelming you and they have pilot sentries, yeah, it's gonna seem even worse. Because the only reason a pilot sentry is strong is if you don't have the time to shoot it out like I did, and it doesn't take long. A laser shot and then a shot from your primary and it's gone. Some primaries can wipe it out anyways, so the problem is when you have pilots that are flooding you while you're also trying to do that. And that's what happens when you're playing a speedy team. The score's pretty tight right now. Campers are my friend. If they're not moving too much. Right now I'm really fishing for these kills. Like they're pretty far. If I could get them to stop. I don't even see where that went. I don't know what happened to that one. See, like those shots, like this doesn't always work. I'm ready. Oh, that could have gone either way too. There's a guy here, I just want to guarantee the kill. So if I get him with the gravity star, it's usually easier to shoot them. This is a scenario I kept running into, that if I wanted to shoot them right away in case they had phase or grapple, sometimes the action of the gravity star just pulling them in would make them dodge my bullet, and then I'd miss. So it's hard to choose between letting them get caught in it all the way or just trying to grab them as soon as it stops their movement. Whoa. I remember the craziest shots in Halo though. That game had some ricochet. But every so often, man, you can go zen with this thing. You're not gonna see too much of that from me. Like, I'm not an experienced Kraber, obviously, but I still had some fun with it. And will I put it back on? Yes, but only for specific scenarios. I can't see myself maining the Kraber. Like, I get good laughs out of it and I have awesome moments with it, but it's not gonna be a consistently fun thing for me. I find the L-Star to be my most consistent meme gun. It's consistent. Oh, there it is. It's consistent enough that you can like play, like actually play the game and not just be like, oh, I'm just here to like get some clips. And that's pretty much what I find the Kraber is for. It's like, it took me no time to find the clips for this montage because everything just feels awesome, right? That's a symptom of using a Kraber, and lesser of a symptom when you're using a Grenadier. It just kind of scales, and then at the bottom of the barrel you're gonna find the alternator in the car in the R101. Because a kill is just a kill, you're like, I'm not even satisfied until I get 30, 40, 50 kills. With the Kraber you end up with 20 and you're like, job well done. Pat yourself on the back, you're like, I'm a beast. Because the Kraber is just plain hard to use. Everybody who's used it knows it. Everybody who's good with it knows that they do better with any other weapon. So for those of you who are able to use it for a complete match and still compete, you have my respect, because that is impressive. And since this is a Kraber video, I know this is incoming, so I'm gonna say it now because I don't want to hear about it, because I've been seeing this way too often. I don't want to see any Benchy references on my channel because the guy was a hacker, and that's it. That's the bottom line. So I know you guys have seen the Kraber so-called god in action, but for those of you guys who have not been keeping up with the scene, the reason he's not putting out videos is because he was caught hacking, didn't even really admit to it, didn't put, like, I would have respected him a lot more if he would have at least came out and been like, yeah, this is what I did, and at least apologize to the community, because I find that at least then you're taking responsibilities for your action. Instead, he decided to disappear, so as far as I'm concerned, that's where he can stay. And that's the end of that rant. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and yeah, I'm gonna mess with you guys. A couple of people asked me, is there a Kraber video? And I kept saying no. I stick to my guns when it comes to things like this, so I'm always gonna try to keep you guys on your toes, and you really don't know what you guys can expect from me. And I don't even know what I expect from me. I don't really make plans on what I'm gonna make for a video. I usually end up playing a little bit, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of what I'm feeling, and then that's where I start taking the direction of what I'm doing. But I do take your suggestions into account, because you guys have been asking me for this Kraber thing for a long time. I'm happy to deliver, because in the end of the day, I want to entertain you guys. I don't just do this for myself. Well, I get a kick out of it too, but you know what I'm saying. But to everybody who has been so supportive, like the people who give you the personalized message, I really appreciate those guys. People who take the time to like, share the video, all that stuff really helps me. And in the end, what it really means is that I can take more time to do these videos for you. So with your support, hopefully we'll be looking at a good new year. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time.